Yeah. Hello and welcome to this 1v1 cast on Vertigo Duel. Got a really special one for you today. We've got Axis playing 101st Airborne, the American division. In my opinion, one of the worst divs in the game for 1v1. That and 24th US and 35th US, I think, are really bad. Really bad divs. And he's going up against Tiberius Rancor, playing 11 easy peasy. These guys have had a massive buff. And that will become clear in the deck review. But for those of you who constantly skip that, basically Paras Marines get DMRs now, and they deal 650 suppression a minute, and so they're actually better than the Legionnaire Paras because of the suppression of the sniper rifle. It deals 3 times the suppression of a machine gun, and they get absolutely loads of Paras Marine. So we'll cover the deck reviews and then deployments. So this is the deck used by Axis in this game, 101st Airborne. I personally believe this division is really weak, particularly given the helicopter nerfs. All the helicopter HPs went down. You see that these Apaches come at 1 per card, but enemy fighters come at 2 or 3 per card. So the fighters just slam into the Apache and kill it. And even if you lose your fighter, you get 2 in a card, whereas the Apaches are a 1 in a card, so it's very difficult to keep them alive, and the HPs went down from 10 to 8. Helicopter armor doesn't really seem to do anything, or at least not against missiles. It might do something against guns. And generally, the division's really weak. It's sort of got this second UK thing going on with the tanks, the MEEPs and the MEEP commands, so you get 6 tanks. But you're really struggling for direct fire support. There's just no direct fire support. So you're forced to use the helicopters, and helicopters aren't fantastic. They fly like bricks. So I think it's very weak. So going through it tab by tab, first things first, lots of CVs here. So this is a 3-point slot, whereas these are all, 1-point slots. So, sorry, I just, I don't know what infantry I just removed. So this is a very expensive CV, but if you need lots of infantry, you need lots of infantry, so you're kind of forced to bring it. 3 cards of supply here. The advantage of the supply mule is that it can come in a Chinook, and then you can get loads of Chinooks, and you can use them to soak. The advantage of the supply goat is it actually carries 500 supply, whereas this carries 300. And so, yeah, the only ground CV possible. Helicopter CVs, I really don't like them. The only high-level player I see bringing them is Fortitude Fence. And I think he wins because he's just got better micro than everybody, to be quite frank. So, infantry, between the CVs, you've got these guys who are 12 men, but only 2 availability. And they've got a flash, so you can use them in combat because they're quite chunky. And that's been brought in a Humvee. The other one is Green Beret Leader, which are a lot more points, but they've got special forces. Sadly, you can't see because you can't get rid of the transport. But they've got special forces, but they are very expensive. And to be honest, you want your leader at the back, right? So then you've got these guys who have a law and smoke, so I like them quite a bit because they're cheaper than the aero leaders. And when are you going to use the flash, really? And 9 men's plenty, and you've got the smoke, and you've got the AT. The thing is, though, these guys are only 3 men, but they're 3 availability, which can be very useful. But they are only 3 men, so they die pretty easily. So maybe it's not that useful. He's got some aviators on. I also have some aviators on. So, 2 cards of tow 2. Yeah, I mean, there are no tow 1s. There are no ITOs. So you're forced to bring the tow 2s, and yeah, you do kind of need 2 cards because the availability is so low. MP Patrol M67, so these guys are 45 points for 5 men. Recoilless rifles used to shoot a lot further, they got nerfed quite a bit. These ones, the M67. But it can fire at infantry as well as vehicles, but the accuracy is really quite poor. And they use up the rounds really quick, but it is still useful. If you can get them into a town or something and keep them supplied, you need to have a supply truck with them. Then they can rattle off all 6 rounds, and then, run back, grab some more, come back. Fire Team 84, so, Aero Fire Team 84, so it's 10 guys, 5 guys with 10 availability. And that makes it quite useful, actually, because, 35 points for an 84 ain't so bad. This can one-shot 2 armor, this can one-shot 3 armor vehicles. The 84 is 17 heat. which means it can one-shot 3 armor vehicles, so it's pretty decent, and they're very cheap, so you can bring them with, you know, some of your other squads, and you can send them around the sides and stuff. Availability is nice and high. Do you really need 10? Might be worth upvetting them, but maybe you do need 10. Aero rifles, dragons. So dragons can now fire in forests. The minimum range has been reduced to 125 meters, which I don't agree with at all. Generally, I liked it when they were longer range. The thing I would have fixed about them is just make recon better so you can see them before they kill you. But rather than fix the recon, they just reduce all the ranges. This can one-shot a 4 armor vehicle, 18 pen, and it can shoot at max range in a forest. So you know, you don't like these are still useful in certain scenarios, but not that much. Like that's why I would consider upvetting them. Because this could actually fire in a forest, and it's very difficult to storm these down now, whereas it used to be harder to do standoff, but easier to storm them. Now it's the opposite way around. So 14 of those. Regular aero rifles, so these guys have laws for some reason. 9 men. And yeah, aero rifles AT4, so these are aero rifles, except they've got like 4 more men, 1 more machine gun, and they've got an AT4. So this is like your bread and butter unit. Sadly, it only comes in the Chinook, but they're a really effective town fighting unit. And Green Berets ODA, so this is your best squad. Special Forces, I need to make a guide on this, but there's just so many things I need to do. Special Forces benefit more from enhanced veterancy than regular units, so considering you only lose 1 availability, it's actually very, very worth bringing these at max vet, because this is just giving you the normal changes for normal units, but for Special Forces it's a lot more, so it does matter, and the higher the Special Forces veterancy, I'm pretty sure the faster they move now as well. It's not a big difference. Artillery, so yeah, 155 millimeters, 4 of them. We know Axis likes these. On second Panzergren, he always brings 455 millimeters. I think 2 is sufficient, and then Nakada mortars for smoke and stuff, particularly on such an infantry-focused div, but this can work. And we'll see. I mean, I've not seen the game yet. This is, you know, meeps. You need to bring them, and if you bring them at 0 vet, then they're not very useful, but it's like you don't really have any fire support. It's very difficult to use properly, because like it's not as, it's only a 105mm gun, right? And yeah, like it's a good tank, but you don't get a lot of them, so yeah, bringing all of them like that is the best way to do it, in my opinion. I've seen like super high level players like Integer bring them at no vet simply because they need to spam Meep Abrams all night long. But mainly it's because you lack direct fire support on this div. Like there's just no auto cannons or anything like that. So yeah, one thing he is missing here is as a car ATGM. So this can be useful, although its autonomy is really bad. This thing is really good. Although its price keeps going up. Like, I mean, it's a TOW2. But, you know, it's a 3-point slot, so it's kind of hard to fit it in. Recon, so Delta Force go 4-2, which is annoying, whereas these are 3-2, so it's always worth upvetting it if it's 3-2. But most of these guys tend to go 4-2, but Deltas now have a Carl Gustav, which can one-shot a 2-armor vehicle, but not a 3-armor vehicle. And interestingly enough, so he's brought in this Humvee because this is just like that, except this one has Special Forces. The forward deployment thing's neither here nor there because this also has the Airborne forward deployment, I'm pretty sure. It's the unit that decides it, not the transport. But the thing with this is, because it's Special Forces, it actually goes faster. Whether or not it goes faster enough to justify 10 extra points, I don't know. But it does go faster. Quick fix, yeah, it's sensible, it can survive an AA shot, and it's got high ECM, and the jammer doesn't really work properly. It cancels enemy artillery correction in its area of effect, allegedly. I mean, I'm not even sure if it works properly. I'm pretty sure you have to, like, have it next to the enemy RT, as opposed to everything around you doesn't have area of, it doesn't have impact correction or whatever, artillery correction. Aero Scouts, so yeah, 10 men, they're really decent. If you want more infantry, you can pad this out a bit more, like, but yeah, 4 Deltas is probably sufficient. It's just the slot costs for this div are quite high. This is interesting, so he's brought the Chaparrals up vetted, so he only has 2 of them. That is rough, dude. I mean, for 5% accuracy, you're losing a lot there. And then he's brought 10 stingers, which can work. I mean, so something I've seen done is like bringing them in with this just so you've got some infantry fire support, but then that means that you've got to buy like way more stingers than you would need. So it's very difficult. I can't do that properly, basically, but I've seen it done. This thing is pointless, like 50 points for that. Just going to die to an ATGM, there's no point in bringing it. Like, the fire support might be decent, but it's so slow, like it's not tracked or anything. If they got pivads, which they should get, because I'm pretty sure pivads can be carried in Chinook helicopters or dropped out of planes and stuff like that, that would be worth bringing as direct fire support. In fact, it's actually very surprising that they don't get those. But hey, whatever. And yeah, so the Chaparral was brought up vetted, and it's like, well, you know, you could save 3 points here if you down vetted that and down vetted that, but and then you could bring, I don't know, some more helicopters maybe, another helicopter. Whether or not you need it, it's up to you. I mean, maybe you do need 10 stingers. So Apache ATAS is the one with the stingers, so that's useful. And that means that you don't really need to bring this thing, which is... In Broken Arrow, this is really good. In Warno, it's trash. So it's AA, but it dies in one hit, and most bombers have, like extra missiles and stuff, so when they bomb, they'll shoot off a missile and you'll lose this. It can be very frustrating. Can be very frustrating. But yeah, the ATAS sort of does the same thing. And it's got the Hellfires. And then you've got the regular Apache, which has the rockets. The Hydras got their range buffed. So the Hydras have more range now. So Cobras have more range. And then all the packed ones have got their range reduced by 1 tick. But now that means that there's no point in the Heavy Hog anymore. Because it used to be that the Heavy Hog had more range. So you would get it for the more range. That's what I would do. I would bring it for the more range. But now, now it's no point. Also, Cobra's lost 2 HP, so overall it's a pretty big nerf. The DAP, so the Black Hawk still has 8 HP. I guess it is bigger than this. But yeah, I don't like this at all. We'll see if it's useful in the game. I mean, if it can get to an infantry, it can kill it quite fast because of the special forces. This is salvo accuracy, so out of 10 people... Sorry, out of 10 rounds, it's got a 95% chance of hitting at least one. That's a really, really bad idea to display the stats like that. It used to display it the other way around, but a certain somebody decided that it should be displaying salvo accuracy. But what that means is that this isn't really very useful information because it's always going to be really high. So, air tab. Wow. So that explains the lack of Chaparrals, I guess, because he had it like this, right? So he's just got all... So, I mean, sure, 6 fighters, but, like, do you really need that? Maybe it would be better to get rid of this, down vet that, and then bring a bomber. Like, it can be so useful to have a bomber. Never bring this. This is garbage. It flies really low. It doesn't... The bombs aren't great. It's really slow. It just dies. This is like faster and it's definitely better. And then you could have a bomber, which can be very, very useful, having a bomber every now and then. But that's just the way I play it. I don't play this div much, and whenever I do, I wish I was playing something else, because honestly it's a terrible division. Looking at his opponent's deck, we've got... just do a cut here. Just do a cut here. What the heck is it? We've got Tiberius Rancor playing... Looking at his opponent's deck, we've got Tiberius Rancor playing 11 easy. And 11 easy is very, very OP right now, and there's a few reasons for that. There's 3 letters for that, and they're spelled DMR. So, first tab, yeah, P4, PC, 2 cards of supply. You don't have any tanks, so bringing 3 is a bit pointless. Then, right, so what they did, right, is they made it so the Paras Marine now get a DMR. And the DMR deals over 600 suppression in a minute. And depending on your veterancy, I shall now prove that to you. So, I shall very slowly prove that to you. There we go. So, basically, you look at this sniper rifle. There's 2 types of snipers. There's a DMR and a sniper, but the game calls them all sniper. So you've got 60 seconds divided by 2.55. That's 23.5 shots a minute. Times by 0.55 for the accuracy. So you're going to hit 13 rounds a minute. and then times it by 50 for the suppression, you deal 647 suppression in a minute. Compare that to the machine gun. The machine gun 60 divided by 1.96 is 30.6 rounds in a minute. This rate of fire, by the way, is just nonsense. Basically, all that matters for is ammo consumption. So this will run out of ammo in 3 minutes of firing, but actually it's only firing 30.6 rounds in a minute. And we're ignoring aim time. Times by 0.45 for the accuracy, so 13.7 hits. Times by 15 is 206 suppression. So this deals more than 3 times the suppression of this. So basically sniper units are completely OP. And it's actually the case now that the Paras Marine will beat the Legionnaire Paras, despite the Legionnaire Paras being more expensive and having the Resolute trait and being elite veterancy and all this. The Paras Marine will win simply on account of the snipers. So that's why 11 easy is so strong right now. Because the DMRs just win you every single infantry fight in the game. And 101st Airborne, which is supposed to have great infantry, basically doesn't, because they don't have DMRs, and DMRs are broken. So, got a Heliborne CV here. Sure, I mean, so that's also why he's brought loads of... I mean, to be honest, he shouldn't have even bothered bringing this. You don't want to bring it. You just want to bring Paras Marine, and you want to max vet him, because then it does even more suppression. You only lose 2 availability. So he's made a big mistake there, actually. I don't understand why he's... Like, Tiberius is a really good player. Maybe he's just trying the deck or something. But let's start at the start. So, between the CVs, I like the one that doesn't come in a Super Puma, but these guys have smoke, which can be useful, and they're actually quite cheap. Obviously, the Super Puma is quite expensive. So he's picked the cheapest one, basically, because these are all much more expensive. So you could get these, but they're more expensive. Get these. This has a DMR, so this is actually a very strong squad. But they're more expensive. Never, ever, ever, ever upvet your CVs. Never do that. That's just such a noob trap. It just shouldn't be in the game. Just confusing people. Anyway, these guys have smoke, but still no AT. So yeah, I can understand going for this one. Super Puma Air Mobile, so sometimes you really do just need to paradrop somebody, and you can see he's brought them at 1 vet, because why not? And they've got Appalachians, and they can do heli drops. Of course, Broken Arrow lets you jump out of a plane, maybe in Warno too. The only time I've ever seen Eugen innovate is when they saw Broken Arrow do something, and then they just copied him. So hopefully we'll get paradrops in the next Eugen game. Chasseurs Paras, 10 men. I mean, honestly, I don't understand why he's brought these when he could have just got more Paras Marine, which is so much better. I think he's made a big mistake here. I would get... In fact, yeah. So instead of getting rid of these, because these can still be very useful, although the Paras Marine are better. No, actually, yeah, I would have got rid of this, and brought 2 more Paras Marine at max vet, and then max vetted all these as well. This is a medium machine gun. He's upvetted it, so you only get 6. But if you upvet this, you get 5, and it is a lot better. It's not twice as good, but you got to think about the fact that you're buying transports and stuff. And you see the range is better. Like it literally deals twice the damage, actually. So actually, it might be twice as good, and it's got 1 more strength. So I vastly prefer the 50 cal, but these can be useful simply because they're so cheap. So you can spread them out. But he's upvetted them, so you don't get that many. Whereas if you... Yeah, anyway. Then he's brought a card of Milan 1s and a card of Milan 2s. That's fair enough. I mean, that's how I run it as well, because sometimes you need the Milan 1s for like IFV spam, and sometimes you need the Milan 2s for... In fact, no, I think I run 2 cards of Milan 2s, just because it's easier. I mean, this isn't actually that much cheaper. It can be useful, right? If you think 30 points is a supply. 30 points is a supply, right? So he's got 3, 4, 5, 7 CVs. Artillery, so he brings 1 card of 105s, down vetted, so he's got 4, and then he brings a card of mortars, so that makes a lot of sense. Forward deployed mortars. The interesting thing about this, right, is that... Oh, this is 81mm, never mind. I was going to say, so this is way more useful than this, because for this, you've got to keep the car with it anyway, and that costs then 75 points for it. Oh, well, hang on. This is 120mm more, which are better, so never mind. I thought this was... whatever. I got it wrong. Tank tab. Tank tab. So the saggy PC is a vehicle in the game. It's for some reason got better optics than the regular one. I mean, I guess he just felt that he couldn't fit in a CV anywhere. Although these are 3-point slots. No, that's 2, which would then give him 3, and then he could bring this, at which point I would bring this, because it's so significantly cheaper. It's 55 points cheaper. And what is this getting you exactly? It can smoke. You really don't want to be using it against people ever. Speed 85. Speed 90. And you just never want this in combat. They've both got 1 top armor. I guess the Saggy's got 2 more HP, but I'd rather be bringing this. Save yourself some points, but hey, let's see how useful it is. And then a bunch of Saggies. So Saggies are like really overpriced. This is another one of Epic Balance Man's epic decisions, where he balances divisions by just making some of their units ridiculously, absurdly over cost. I always think that's a mistake. I think units should cost what they're worth always, every single time, because all you're doing is confusing new players who think, oh, 110-point tank, it must be really good, and it's not. And you're just basically just confusing everybody. But I don't balance the game. Neither does the bounce man. So 15 pen at max range is okay. The main thing is the mediocre stealth. So when I see people using this, I see them like charging across open fields. It's not what they're for. They're for sending around the sides, shooting things in the sides, doing infiltration, getting it through a forest line and then darting out. Like, it's really fast. And forest speed is just a multiplier of open ground speed, so which means they go through the forest really fast. And then you bring one of these with them, and then you can just send these 2-man teams around everywhere. One of these, right? And you send them together, and you just path them around and get kills. I mean, keep in mind it's got mediocre optics, but yeah, it's about that mediocre stealth. And when they send the helicopter, you hit them with the VLRA 20. Parapete for Milan, you do need this. Generally, I actually only bring 1 card of Saggies and 2 cards of Para Milans. Like, it's great to have basically, the whole idea behind this division, as I see it, is that you want to take ground early and then hold on to it for the rest of the game by sneaking stuff around the side, by spamming planes, and by filling it with infantry, filling it with ATGMs. And the enemy has to push into your, infinite suppression DMRs and Appelas. So that's kind of the whole point of the div. Tank tab. Sorry, recon tab. So we've got even more Saggies here. So this one actually has good optics, and it's look at that. I mean, it's only 5 points more, even though it's got 1 level of optics for 5 points. So do you really need this many Saggies? 12 plus 4 Saggies, 16 Saggies. So like maybe 12 Saggies. And then they're double vetted, and then they fire faster, and they got higher accuracy. Like, do you really need 16 Saggies? Probably not. Like, that's 1,600 points, right? More, because they're 110. So it's 1,760 points. Yeah, but then these are 5 points more, so it would actually be more. 20 points more. So yeah, I think that's a mistake to bring so many down-vetted Saggies. We'll see if he buys that many. Anyway, so Saggy Recon, which is better, but it's less availability, and there's only 1 card. Otherwise, you might as well just bring 2 of these, but there's only 1. Then VBL Recon. So this was the Homelander Classic, and so we saw Homelander do this a lot, where he would just open with like 6 VBL Recons and just run them down a road with a couple of Saggies behind him, because 5 each, but he would do it with AMX 10 RCs behind him. So these have had their availability reduced and their price go up. So it's not so useful anymore. Same with this one, like this is really expensive now. It used to be that you would take this instead of this, because it was literally only 5 points more. And it's got very good optics on it, and it's got armor, and it's got more HP, and it's got a gun. But yeah, the price of that has gone up, and now there's really no point bringing it. It's too expensive. Shout out to this thing, which is terrible and doesn't... It takes 2 shots to kill a BMD, and then you die. Paras SAS. are good for satchels and stuff. So you'll note that he hasn't brought any like satchel infantry here, and that's because it's here. They've got smoke as well, so they're really decent. I know the way Gnef at least used to do it was that he would bring them in this, and then he would attack at the start with a bunch of smoke, and you know he would use this for fire support. But and it's got optics on it, and it's not actually that expensive. But it looks like Tiberius prefers to just bring him in the truck, and then some snipers. Snipers SAS. That's because the French SAS were trained by the British SAS, so they called themselves the SAS. And these actually have a proper sniper rifle, so let's get the calculator back out again. So this actually is a sniper rifle, and this is absolutely absurd. So 60 divided by 3.5 is 17 rounds a minute. Times by 0.71 is just over 12 on-shot rounds a minute. Times by 150 is 1,826 suppression a minute. So that's 3 times bigger than the DMR, and the DMR is 3 times bigger than the machine gun. So it's 9 times better than the machine gun. So they're absolutely absurd. They're absolutely absurd. And the question is this... I don't think this is actually counting the sniper trait, which increases the accuracy and makes the damage plus 500% as well. So snipers are really good at hurting people. And these guys come at max vet, which means they also take advantage of the special forces traits. So they move faster and everything. So I understand why he's bringing it. They're really good at killing people. AA, so he's brought 2 cards of these, which is surprising. He's only brought 1 card of minstrels. And he's brought a Pomelo, which is a self-propelled minstrel. I mean, so this is now cheaper than that and a truck and the same availability. It used to be a lot more. And you'll note that the minstrel actually has, you know, it's the same if it's on the car or in the... So basically, the minstrel in real life can't be fired from the shoulder. They certainly don't do this with it. It's really, really heavy. It's fired from a tripod, just like the Javelin LML. Except in this game, the minstrel is a super stinger, and the Javelin LML gets hit by toes and can't go in buildings. Even though this fires just like a Javelin LML, it always fires from a tripod. You can just Google minstrel firing, French minstrel firing, and you'll see that every single time they're firing it from a tripod. You can't do this with it. You'll blow your own arm off. Then he has brought the AA healers, so we'll see how useful these are. Certainly at the start they can be okay, but I mean, I just think they always just die to planes, and they die in one shot to stingers. I think it's just a waste of money. Same with the American ones. Heli tab, so he's brought 1 Gazelle Hot 2 and 1 cannon, so that's fair enough really. And then air tab, he's not actually brought that many bombers, so typically the way... We already spoke about this. The way the div goes is you you know, take the ground and then you air bully for the rest of the game. And one of the reasons you can air bully so well is that this seed plane has 3 availability, the highest in the game, and you use this to kill enemy helicopters. You use this to kill enemy helicopters because it's got 50% ECM. It's got really good guns. It's 205 points, 3 availability. You compare that to the actual fighter. The actual fighter's 5 points less. And it's got less availability. That's weird. Didn't it used to be 8 HP? I think I'm confusing it for a different one. One of them used to be 8 HP. Weird. Oh, yeah, I am confusing it for the other one, which used to be in this div. I guess they took it out. It was like 185 points or something. Who knows? Definitely used to be a Mirage. That was a... anyway. So... Obviously, the plane one is faster, right, and it's got the short-range missiles, so it can be good at killing enemy helicopters, but the seed is also a seed, right? So I would swap this out for that, and certainly I'd be cutting down on some of the, like, why do you need 12 of these? I would, like, you've got 12 Pomelas, 12 Minstrels, I would get rid of this, I would get rid of this, I would either add a second card of Minstrels, or I would get the second LGBT and the seed plane, and then you can get rid of this, and you can bring the Jaguar AT, which is absurdly OP, because it's got 30 pen, 60% accuracy. This, by the way, is an anti-bunker or anti-ship missile, but in the The French one's got 60% accuracy, 3 availability, which is incredible. That's why it's so powerful. And then you do the air spam. But then you are lacking fighters, so you could swap this out for another fighter. But honestly, these fighters aren't great. And, 4 should be sufficient. So, that's the deck reviews. And I will see you in-game. Right, so let's talk about the divisions, the map. First things first, red is on the good side. Why is it the good side? You've got this building here, which you can put ATGMs in to shoot the reinforcement roads. Whereas this building here obviously doesn't do that. And on this side, it's basically even. But yeah, on this side, when blue is advancing, the auto-pathing will always take you down this road, which means that if you lose this or this, you'll always get hit by the ATGMs, and obviously the enemy starts with this, so you'll always get hit by ATGMs, so you've got to manually path them to here. The thing is, if you try and manually path them to here, the auto-pathing will take you down this road, and then across. When you're coming across, max range ATGMs can hit you there, not Milans, but I'm pretty sure Conkers and stuff can. Oh no, actually, I think they might have moved it back a bit. So, yeah, but even so, the enemy will see you. Or if he's here, he will hit you with an ATGM. So you've got to manually path them over here, then manually path them into here. Whereas the enemy can just come down these roads. He's got 2 of them, and if he really wants, he can come this way. The middle of the map is basically even, so if blue takes it, he can put a guy here and shoot this way. He can put a guy here and, fail to shoot this way because it's just inside range, but by the time he gets past, unless you've got a repairer, 2,800 meter range thingy-mabob here, usually the enemy will just get past, or he can just go down this road and it'll be fine. Yeah, on this side favors red because basically red, if they want to defend, can put loads of units up here, all up in these trees, very, very difficult to spot, and they've also got all this, whereas blue, they can put units back here, but it doesn't really cover the whole zone in the same way that this looks over the whole open, whereas this kind of covers this little bit. You can put them here, but the houses are blocking the LOS. It's just not as good. This building's decent, but these houses block it. So one side's stronger than the other, and the last one, the creme de la creme, that's not the right word for what I'm trying to say here, the piece de résistance of why this map is imbalanced is India is way easier to attack than Papa. So if you take Bravo, red can stack all this, right? And then he can punch out, punch back in. He can take this back a lot faster. And, he can put guys all up in here in these buildings. Very, very difficult to get to Papa. If you're on this side and you're going for India, sure, the enemy can put people in this forest. But if you've taken India, you take this and then you jump across into the forest and you get in, and then you can actually get all the way up to here, mess up the enemy. You can also send them back here and blow this up. But generally, this, you can try and put a guy there and die, because these have perfect vision of that. Or you can put a guy all the way over here, at which point the guys here can duel them. So certainly it is easier from Red's point of view. So looking at the deployments, we've got... oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the divisions. I think 101st in 1v1 is awful. I really do believe that. We're not back in the days of when First UK came out and it was literally unplayable for 6 months. It's still got something to it. But generally, helicopters keep having their HPs reduced. They fly like bricks. The whole division's predicated on helicopters in a game where helicopters come at 1 per card and fighters come at 3 per card. 2 or 3 per card, and one fighter can one pass one helicopter pretty much all the time. and yeah, so it's very, very difficult to play a helicopter division in this game. In bigger team games it can work because you can fly around the sides and stuff like that, but in 1v1 it's bad, and you don't really have any direct fire support. You just literally don't have any, apart from 6 Meep Abrams and the odd 50 cal transport, but literally just 1 or 2 50 cal transports, not even that many. If they got more Humvees with 50 cals on them, I think it would get a lot better. But they don't. So basically we've got 3 aero rifles going over here, and that's going to go about as well as you can expect. I mean, I'm already looking over here. But the main thing is that 11 Easy gets these forward deployed 20mm gun trucks, so they can just run straight forwards, and because the helicopters take so long to take off and land, they'll get there and then they'll get shot down by this. So you just put one of these on every road, which he has done, by the middle, and then you can just take them all, and then you stop all the helicopters. So I don't think that's going to go well. And you see how expensive they are? Like, this is all his stuff. Actually, maybe he's got some eagles or something, because this isn't a lot of stuff. Maybe he's got some eagles. But yeah, this is a 130-point combo, and it can't defend itself. So then Delta Force go in here, Delta Force go in here. I do like the idea of taking this, and then 3 dragons, so 2 dragons and a Totu. I assume he's bought fighters, because there's no AA here. He's got to have bought fighters. Like, there's literally nothing here. So we'll cast the game. No, I forgot about his opponent's deployment. So his opponent's opened 3 planes because he expects enemy helicopters, because that's the whole point of his division. He can't really do anything else. And then he's also opened, you know, chasseurs, paras, and a VLRA 20. And that's going very deep. We'll see, because, I mean, like, the Delta Force aren't actually stopping off there. And these guys don't have airborne forward deploy, so it might get there. Behind that, a saggy PC. Very expensive. For mid, a Milan 1 and an AAANFI. I would have put one of these here, but I suppose if you've got 3 planes, you probably don't need these at all, actually. That's a bit overkill. Milan 1 going to here. He knows he's going to get there first, and then he can see, like, you can see down this road, and he can shoot down this road. And another Milan 1 going to there. Okay. And then chasseurs paras going to here, paras marine going to here. Surprised he's putting it here instead of down here, and a VLRA 20, and nothing going to Charlie. And a gazelle cannon apparently. So we'll cast the game, and we'll do it from this perspective, because I think this is going to be a short one. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joinering the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. He's looking for helicopters. He can't listen in so well anymore, but he's seen them, and all this needs to land right now or it's all going to die. Looks like he's not going to land it, so here come the other fighters, and he's probably going to lose all of these. Tiberius getting the micro a bit wrong there. Oh, 2 eagles out, so that explains the lack of stuff. And the eagles should really be winning these fights handedly. It looks like that one's going to die. He shouldn't have evac'd it, because then the enemy nose guns get on you and you die. But it's, you know, when it's low, you're like, I got to evac it. But you should have just, like, span it round in circles while the other one got the kill. So that would have worked a lot better. This guy will probably be able to win that fight. But yeah, look, these are just flying into the VLRA 20s and dying. I'm really surprised that only one of them died. But yeah, that was a very aggressive placement. Wow, it almost made it as well. But yeah, so this should land, actually. The deltas need to move up there. I'm not sure why that eagle was still going. He should have kept it back here, really. So that's a shame, a loss of an eagle. These are not as good as the 82nd Eagles, because they've got Sparrows instead of AMRAAMs. Sparrows are semi-active radar guidance, so they don't fire as fast as AMRAAMs. And that guy gets away because he's a speedy boy, but so is the eagle. But it is very expensive. So this eagle should go for that gazelle cannon now, and it is. And over here, the chasseurs paras did get here first, and it looks like a gamma goat died. I can't remember what was in the gamma. Oh, it was an airborne toe too. So yeah, the L-rack there. Every man, woman, and child in the nation of France has a mega rocket launcher, so this has got 343 suppression. This is 230. You'll note that this is an 89mm weapon, and this is a 127mm weapon, but this has 343 suppression. And this is also very high. So basically, all infantry AT suppressions went up a while ago, and they just never came back down again. So if you've got like a brawler tank, it doesn't really matter. But there you go. So that should go down, actually. Okay, never mind. He got stunned. So somehow the chasseurs... Well, I know why the chasseurs paras lost, because he brought chasseurs paras instead of the guys with DMRs. So you see this DMR's opening up on this guy, and he's already mediocre cohesion, and he's just going to lose all his cohesion there because of the DMR. Obviously, there's a lot of things shooting him. And imagine if he had one bomber. So yeah, it's going pretty rough for blue, but we expected this. I mean, you know, Tiberius is probably thinking he's already won, and so am I, frankly. I mean, you know, he's taken Alpha. He just needs some more stuff. It's like he's given up on it, though. Yeah, Axis is buying helicopters and he's trying to get in here. And really, this Delta should be here so that he can actually see. And you see how this Saggy has been put behind this building so that the Cobra can't shoot it? Cobra's only got 6 HP, remember? But yeah, this Delta should have moved up. He could have killed all this. He probably doesn't know it's there. And then once this comes over to here, the Saggy can go around to here, if he so chooses. Looks like he's actually just going to sit there and die instead. It didn't have to be that way, but there you go. And yeah, this Humvee can, like, I mean, there's nobody here, but he doesn't know that. And so you can put it here, and then you can see things. And certainly he doesn't know about the chasseurs, paras. But yeah, the Delta could be looking out over here. So this Delta's moving up, and should kill that VBL recon. Oh, that VBL recon could definitely see it. So this shouldn't just YOLO in there. And look, he's stopping it. I don't think Axis knows about this yet. Oh, he will do now. No, never mind. No, well, he should have done because that stopped to shoot at it, but I guess he wasn't paying attention. And Tiberius trying to maintain air superiority here, but he's lost 4 fighters already because he lost 3 at the start and then he lost 1 to the Eagle. Whereas Axis has only lost 1 fighter. No, he's lost 2 Eagles actually because he lost 1 here and he lost 1 back there. So he's still got 2 Eagles and 2 Phantoms, whereas Tiberius only has 2 Mirages. I can't remember of which disposition. So Gazelle Celtics, you'll see how useful these are against planes. They basically just can't aim in time. But yeah, the Delta wins that fight and should really be moving up to this building so that he can just Gustav this, because that has high range. The Phantom is going somewhere. Okay, oh, so he was waiting for the Eagle to come out, I guess. So that Mirage should really die now. So if Tiberius loses this, he'll only have 1 fighter left, I'm pretty sure. And he should lose it because that Eagle's very good. Wow, he gets a little bit lucky, but not lucky enough. And the Gazelle Celtics are honestly terrible. You'll see now. And if only this man had a... I mean, he got another aero rifles because there were 3 in there. You see the Humvee died. And look at the Gazelle Celtics. Wow. Oh, actually... No, never mind. I was right. They are bad. So the aero rifles managed to retake the zone, but Tiberius has been on a +4 all this time, and he's got all this. I'm surprised with some of his purchases, to be honest. I think the Gazelle Celtics weren't the play. I think he should just build up here. Like, where's his... Oh, his saggy PC died, right? I would get a CV into here, try and take this. He doesn't know what's there, right? But he's got all this stuff, right? So the Milan one you leave there, maybe both of them. Whereas the Paris Marine and stuff you can move over. The problem is this doesn't have any ammo. So it won't be able to defend him from helicopters, which is obviously what Blue's division is all about. This thing stops me from leaning back in my gamer chair. And this man is very, very dead. He just needs to run away. You see, this guy also has a sniper, and this is a good sniper. So these guys are already on mediocre cohesion. And there you go, they're stunned because snipers deal, you know, what was it, 1,800 suppression a minute. From the deck review, you'll know, because you definitely didn't skip the deck review, did you? Did I thank the generous channel joiners? They get their names on the screen. They get the videos early. They get members exclusive videos. If you can't be bothered, please just like the videos and comment on them. It makes YouTube recommend them to more people. I'm sorry I don't reply to the comments like as fast as I used to. Sometimes it takes me a couple of weeks, but I do read them all as soon as they come in. It's just I don't reply straight away. So this Mirage can kill that Humvee. But yeah, decent microwave from Axis. I mean, he's putting it in the forest. I'd probably track across here, but it's just a minor thing. And that, yeah, you see that the guns on him can be used very, very effectively. The best nose guns in the game are the Death of 30x2. It's better than the Vulcan cannon, significantly. So the Eagle is probably going for the Celtics. Loses 1 at the Mirage and hits it. Stinger's not in range. And yeah, Tiberius keeps buying the wrong unit. He just needs to buy more and more Paras Marine. I'm really not sure why these Chasseurs Paras are in the deck at all. Maybe 1 card, but I don't see the point in the slightest. So that Jaguar HE is probably going to eat lead. And you see the power of the Gazelle Celtics actually doing something there. So he's trying to get that Jaguar, but it is very, very, very fast. And it's probably going to get away. It does not. And the Phantom's going in on the Gazelle Celtics. But yeah, Tiberius should not have bought these Gazelle Celtics. He should have bought some Minstrels. 2 Minstrels here. No problems. No problems with 2 Minstrels there. Wait, that would just be dead now. So this lands, and he tries to get gun runs. And he actually does hit it, but he doesn't kill it. He evac'd it over the enemy, so the enemy knows his fighter's been evac'd. It sounds really pedantic, but because they see that little tick there, what you want to do is send it back here, then evac it. It's obviously easier for me to say these things, and I don't do them every single time, but you're here to learn, right? And I might as well tell you what the optimum play is. So the VLRA 20 should rinse that Cobra. As you can see, it's being rinsed. Rinse moment. Sadly, all these Cobras, though, they're staying alive, which is surprising given that they've lost so much HP. So this is not great for blue. And one wonders why that's not going to make it to there. This will kill that. It will just stun it up. So that's why he's sending the Cobra, I guess. But there is still AA here. And over here, I mean, this is just poor micro from Tiberius. If he had this in this building, this and this, certainly the sniper would just suppress both of these before they got here. And you could even maneuver this round and kill them all. Yeah, it's rough for blue, man. He's rinsed. It's just planning loss. He picked ranked with 101st Airborne selected. It's worn over, bro. So this has a 50 cal, which is good against Cobra. And that is certainly not very intelligent at all. That was never landing there. Now, Gazelle Celtic's probably going to go down, though. I think the Cobra's probably going to die, too. Yeah, it's just... Right, the French AA is the best SHORAD in the game, short-range air defense. Best SHORAD in the game, the French AA. So, yeah, what am I to say? You know, this guy's going to die... Lots of Cobras, but like he's sort of forced to buy helicopters, but helicopters are bad. And looks like Red's going to push back in here. That 50 cal went down, I guess. Yeah, 750 points for Tiberius. So, Cobras are opening up, but as soon as that VLRA 20 gets over there, you know, it should be pretty over. Like, they're advancing as well. Having said that, there are 3 of them. Sort of crossing things over there. So if this opens up and he just right clicks it, he should kill it. He's got them on regular height. But if they use all their Hydras on the wrong thing, right, so now they all need to focus this. They all need to right click this right now, and he has done. He's not running away with this one, so he's smart. And you see that the Cobra started a fire beneath it, and it started moving, which makes the accuracy go down, because the motion accuracy is actually only slightly less, but it did make a difference there, you see, otherwise this one would be dead. So, you know, Axis using the Cobras really well, and certainly Tiberius has done kind of a bad job of buying Minstrels. He's just, I don't think he's bought any. He's buying the Pamellas because they can move. And, yeah, like, Axis actually managed to make it into here. Certainly if those Paras Marine were here, the sniper would have suppressed all these guys before they could get in. And then that 20 mil could have just swung around and shot them to death. But yeah, it looks like Axis' strategy of just constantly sending guys down this road is working. And Tiberius' strategy of just running straight in here rather than trying to get, you know, something here round to shoot. Something here to shoot that and down there is not paying dividends. That's a very interesting way of using plays. So the problem with these is that they only have 6 HP, but it's an open top vehicle, right? It's got less than 1 top armor, and it's got bad stealth, unlike a regular Minstrel, which has good stealth. So if you do that, I mean, it works. He almost got both of them. So yeah, Tiberius just needs to buy some ground launched Minstrels and start stacking these buildings and just stop attacking for just a couple minutes and build this up, you know. Chuck him out. I guess he knows he's there. He must do. Although this would be shooting that. This should be shooting that. I think it's blocked. I think the LOS is blocked by these trucks, so he doesn't see this building. But yeah, I really like that use of Eagles. Imagine if instead of a card of Phantoms, he had a card of Bombers. Because the Bombers also have short-range missiles. And you see the power of these snipers? This guy can't see that. He doesn't know it's there. And he's just dying. And you see, this is like taking off a HP every time it fires. Or it should be every other time it fires, but obviously this is all helping out. So Axis has finally bought a tank. I mean, it's difficult to afford these when you're trying to get stuff done. But really, like this sniper's SAS, if you see the sniper around, you could dive it with these, and it's only a 2-man squad. Right now it's only 1. And honestly, my head really hurts. Like my neck is heavy because I can't lean back in my gamer chair because of the black thing here. So you know, but we'll do our best. I've sort of tilted it up so I can. This should kill that Saggy, but it's only 1 HP. I mean, very surprised that he's sending it forwards, to be honest. I mean, it might just die to the Paras SAS. I think it's dead. No, the LOS tool is sort of lying a little bit to us there. And if it misses... If it missed there, it probably would have died. So, there you go. And Stinger misses. This guy... The Paras SAS are going to smoke him. I mean... But yeah, sending that Aeromobiles was not very intelligent, because he surely knows about all this, because it was there before. Maybe he thought he'd evac'd it, but Brony's... Oh no, he's evac'd everything, and then Eagle Moment gets a shot on its way out, and that's doesn't save this, because there was a VLRA 20 hit. Oh, there was actually... He's finally bought a ground-based Minstrel. That must have been what got the kill. I was going to say, these are not great against planes. They take too long to aim. And by that time, the plane's flown out of your not amazing range. So, yeah. Tiberius is going to struggle a lot more to push into this now that there's an Abrams here. But the thing is that Axis really needs some recon. I mean recon here. Because, like, this could just start killing all those guys. But it doesn't know about them apart from the vehicles, right? Like, it should be able to kill all these. But he doesn't know they're there. And he's pulling it back because he doesn't want it to get planed, which is sensible. So here we go. We spoke about this. You got to send them over here, then over here. He's relying on the like. Honestly, I think what Axis needs to do is buy 155mm, and you see these will automatically sell down that road and die. So there goes 60 points that could have been reclaimed there. And so yeah, 155mm howitzer, and then you can start hitting all these positions when they shoot you. But look, he should send the tank forwards there, really. Tiberius knows that Axis is moving a tank, so he sees that, and he's like, it's going there. So he's just pinging for his own utility. The problem with the DAPs is they're bad, but he's killed the Minstrel, so now they're good. Because there's nothing here that can hurt. But, I mean, he just needs to send this up and kill him. But that's 5 helicopters now, and this will not beat 5 helicopters. So that's a very interesting way of clearing a zone, and it just comes down to Tiberius's AA play. He keeps buying these Pamellas, which keep dying, whereas if he'd had 2 Minstrels in here, I mean, he had 1, but 1 doesn't beat 5 helicopters. Certainly if there's recon here. So that is gaming. Would love to see Axis get a chin-up supply over here. I think there's one in this deck. And start resupplying stuff. But there you go, the Pamels have moved up now. But he's bought enough time to get this in, and he'll probably get that CV in as well. He needs to go house to house, though. He's just taking unnecessary casualties here. He needs to be in a house every time. Should have gone back for that house. Like, he should have stayed in this house. I mean, it's pedantic, right? Obviously, he's got to look at this as well. Here we go. He's finally got some recon. But yeah, the Chasseurs Paras get pretty big range, and I'm not sure. No, I don't think it can hit this from there. But yeah, those deltas need to get in that house. Can't speak properly anymore. But this is good from Axis. He's on a +1. Only 700 points to go. I really like how he's doing that. He's just killing the Shorad with his face. I think it's hilarious. But a lot of it is Tiberius's fault. He keeps buying these cheapo Pamellas because it saves a couple points. But if it dies, you don't save it. You actually lose points, right? So if he just had a couple Minstrels in these buildings, like 2 Minstrels tends to be enough to kill whatever. And this is looking very bad for Axis now. Because Chasseurs Paras are now in rocket launcher range of that forest. That's a decent angle, because it can shoot that one as well. But the problem is the mega suppression, mega range on these. So yeah, we were waiting for a bomber for the tank. Although he's lost visual. There should really be an eagle, like, so don't just leave him in your backpack. Always have one circling back here. Right click, right click, right click, right click. Because then this would have been dead as opposed to getting out, which I think it will do. Yeah, a few mistakes there. Lost 2 transports. I think one of them was just one of them was the one that transported this, and one of them was that guy with the Amphi in it. yeah, I think Tiberius needs to stop pushing this angle. I mean, to be honest, he's made it in, right? But it's just so easy for Axis to just get 5 helicopters here. And look at this. This is so funny. So this time he's not evacing over. Oh, evac both. You just evac that one, leave this one in for the next time they're playing. Look, like right now. Imagine a scenario in which you have an eagle up. So Tiberius probably thinks he does have one up, even though he doesn't. And that meep is very, very, very dead. And if only there was an eagle. Does him a favour and drops an aero rifles on it as well. If only he hadn't evac both his eagles. Like, this is really expensive. Also, it's because it's the best LGBT in the game. Except maybe the 76Y one, because it drops its bombs one at a time, which makes it basically you get 3 for the price of 1. But the reason it's the best is because it's got really good standoff. So I think there's a mistake being made here. I think Tiberius, instead of pushing across the open, he should have put all this into here, because now he's actually in serious danger of losing this. Axis needs to get some supply up, but you see that the auto-pathing will, because he's putting it there, but it will take it past this. And so now, you know, you end up losing your stuff. It's really dumb. Yes, he needs to land this one. Tiberius going for the low one there, you know. And, you know, like, where's the eagles? That was a bit overkill. What's he doing? He needs to go backwards. So or just press T and press on this, because this is not great. Constantly losing stuff to that minstrel. Eagle's gonna fly over the Pomelo. Although the... Like, okay, so he's focusing the AA, which is very, very intelligent. And this has bad stealth, which is the only reason he can see that, because these are obviously not recon. That's why he can't see this one, right? So that is gonna go down. What? What killed that? Did he just end himself? Oh no, these guys shot him. Okay, I was gonna say, like, what? But yeah, over here, you know, Tiberius is trying to push in the open with his div without smoke cover. So he's just walking forwards with infantry, and Axis is doing a good job of keeping his Cobras alive, and Tiberius seems content to just buy these Pomelas, which, you know, if he had minstrels in these houses, that would be dead, and none of his guys would have died to that. But yeah, the Cobra's being used to great effect here. This is not intelligent at all. Please never, ever, ever clump your guys up like this. Yeah, look, no, I thought he was putting 2 in here. So he should get this, but this is just asking for a bomber. Like, you don't want that to do that at all. Please put 2 in here. So he tries to smoke, because he did have smoke, but he didn't do it fast enough. Oh, I see. There's an eagle here, so he knows that he can clump up. But still, you don't want to be doing that. Like, even these 105s. Look, this is really not intelligent gameplay. If you ever put more than 2 guys in a house, think bomber. Think bomber, because there's almost always an enemy bomber coming in. Sadly, in this game, 105s are useless, so... because they keep increasing the HE, but that's not why they're useless. They're useless because the way Splash works in this game is either it direct impacts you and does full damage, or it misses by a tiny little bit and does no damage. And the lower the caliber, the smaller the core radius. Like, the core radius is really, really small. And so by increasing the HE, you're just making it more and more inconsistent every time. So, like, maybe you'll hit him and do damage, but look, like, if that one landing there did nothing. That one landing there, I can't even click it, there, did nothing. But if it lands straight on, it'll do 2 HE. So these deltas have managed to get around here, which is pretty decent. And it looks like Axis is actually somehow managed to push Tiberius out of all this. And he looks like he's in control. Patriots are in control. And, yeah, the Helo blobs just really... Like, Tiberius just needed more MANPADs. Man-portable, not TRUCKPADs. And then he could have picked this off a bit more, but... Yeah, so like, what's going to happen here? I think this is probably not a good idea for Axis to stay around. I think he's going to lose all this. Yeah, so that was kind of dumb. But he got them all. Wow, yeah. And that once again comes down to the fact that those trucks have bad stealth. So we could see them without recon. Look, bad stealth. If those had just been MANPADs here and here, you wouldn't have been able to see them. You might have been able to, like, attack position them. You wouldn't have been able to see them. Anyway, look, Delta Force. Already mediocre. There you go. 2 shots. Routed. Yeah, I'll route the next one. Route the next one. But yeah, it's the first time I've not seen Axis buy 4 artillery and put them at the back of the map. Certainly you don't want 4, but I think 1 would have been quite useful. But what he's done has worked, so credit to it. He does have to contend with these Gazelle cannons, but he's just got total fighter superiority, so maybe having the 6 fighters was the play. But I always like to have at least 1 bomber. Yeah, +2 for Axis. And I don't really think Red can get back in here. I mean, look, certainly not in there. But like in here as well, once the enemy puts TOW2s in here, or in this case 10 trillion helicopters, you're not getting back in. And certainly 11E, the whole point is you get early zones and then you sit on them. 11E on the attack is not good at all. Here we go. Mirage out. I guess it was going for this Aero TOW2 or something. Or he was trying to defend his Gazelle cannons. This Phantom's getting baited over those Pamellas. It also wasn't going for the Mirage. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm just really surprised. It looked like it was over basically straight away. The opener for 101st was awful, and but somehow he did actually manage to land 2 of these. But you basically just shouldn't ever open helicopters as 101st. Because planes can... Well, unless you know the enemy's got no wheeled or forward deployed AA, in which case it might work. But yeah, this is now a lot of trash in an open field. And these just absolutely obliterate these. Like, even a Milan 1 would kill these in 1 hit. A Dragon certainly will. And so now now Axis is on the defensive. He's bought some tanks. Certainly a good idea against all this trash. And I think Tiberius' only way back into this game would be to buy a few mortars, and he does have them. And he should have really done this originally when he pushed over here and smoke this, and get in there with those Paras SAS. But yeah, I think it comes down to a lack of MANPADs. Like, imagine if there were 2... Like, he's got this zone, this part. Imagine if there were 2 minstrels in here the whole time. Like, how much better would things have gone if there were 2 minstrels in here instead of these Pamellas, which... You know, they're a movable minstrel, but it's a bait, basically. You've just been baited. But yeah, certainly Axis needs to stop flying over the enemy AA and pretending like it doesn't exist, because they will eventually get it. Although he's been lucky so far. That's now going to evac back over those Pamellas, but they're still reloading. And Axis needs to stop pushing. He's on a +2. He needs to secure and just wait a little bit. And I really do think he should have a 155mm howitzer, because these only have 10k range. The American ones go a bit further because they're the M102 or something, whereas this is the M101. And you could counter battery that, and you could kill these very thin-skinned Pamellas with the artillery, which would help you too. Here we go. So LGBT's out, and certainly Axis has lost a lot of units here. The spam is working. But you won't be seeing that now for 2 minutes. It should really be more than that, but whatever. And yeah, there's no AA here. I'm surprised he's not bought the Apache ATAS yet, because obviously that kills these. I tend to buy those first. I gotta tell you, man, these Apaches are getting pretty lucky. Like, these Pamellas in general do not seem to have 70% accuracy. There you go. And I think he's in danger of, like, certainly, like, you should put this on low altitude so that you can shoot all this, no problem, but these wouldn't be able to shoot you. But instead he's just kind of eating it, and he's losing a lot of Cobras now. So yeah, if he'd been on low altitude here, those Pamellas wouldn't have been able to shoot, and he still would have been able to shoot down here. There you go, some smoke. But I think, yeah, it must have been from the 105s. And yeah, I guess Red needs to take this zone to stop the tick. 11 minutes left. Jaguar HE coming in. CV tanks move though. Should unload the stingers immediately. Just press U. U for unload now. Whereas Y is why unload now. Let's unload later. That's what that stands for. But yeah, this is generally like a weakness of 11E, that these are not very good and they're very expensive, so it's kind of hard to take ground past the start of the game. And he's panicking now, like that just wasn't smart. Like he's got a P4 PC here, he could have smoked his way in. But yeah, he's panicking, he's making mistakes. And the Saggies, like, you know, obviously you don't really want to be sitting here if your Axis just eating rounds. Yeah, like, there must be something wrong with these. I don't know, because that's like a 3-vet one now. Oh, it's 2-vet, 70% accuracy. But yeah, the Meeps, you know, they got max range, and they can one-shot the Saggies, and the Saggies certainly cannot one-shot the... Like, look at that! There must be something wrong with these Pomelos. They must be bugged or something, because what? This guy is literally just diving them constantly. These haven't hit anything. They hit the helicopters. But yeah, he's panicking. He's panicking. Like, he knows the stuff here. He tried sending something before and it died, and he's doing it again. And the plane's up. He's panicking. So it looks like this game's going to be over soon, because he's panicking. I think I already said that. Maybe I should say it again. But yeah, Axis, if you're watching this, I think one way you could improve your play is to buy one howitzer. Not 4, just 1. But here you go, you see the MANPADs do way better than the Pomelos, simply because they've got exceptional stealth. So they don't get spotted as easily, whereas the Pomelos stick out like a sore thumb, and then the plane blows them up with a Vulcan cannon. Yeah. So, more tanks come in. Need some infantry, really. I guess this is the infantry. And, yeah, this is the issue with your helicopters, bro. I mean, he just can't afford to do that, really. Needs to focus that Saggy, really. And the power of the Appalachian, I think he showed side armor there. I'm pretty sure as he was reversing, he showed side armor. I mean, there's a fire under him, so, yeah, look, he's side on. He's side on to this. So, you know, he might get in, but he also might not get in. My money's on him getting in. No, hang on. What's the range on this? What's he doing? He's running into anti-tank range. And then he's... Oh, okay, you can see through that. Did you always do that? Wow. I didn't even know that was possible. Wi-Fi vision, as they call it. The more trees in the way, the less your range is, which kind of makes sense, I suppose. But it also means you get these weird situations like this, where you can see all the way through. I don't know. So, kind of difficult to dodge those. Almost impossible. But yeah, you know, if you've got your helicopter back here, right, you put it on low altitude, and then the guy that's here can't shoot you. Or the guy that's here can't shoot you, etc. And certainly these need to be moved up a bit, get that supply up there. Not sure what's going on there. This is a 50 cal, so if he just stops, he will kill it pretty fast, because the accuracy is a lot less. Or he could move a Stinger to here, but it looks like the SAS are getting in. Still +2 for Axis, but the SAS are in now, and they've got smoke. But now he needs a CV in, but he has managed to storm it. I mean, not sure what to say. Like, this could be sold, I suppose. He's clearly not been... No, hang on, these are really cheap, never mind. So Red have done it, and now he can stop the tick when the CV gets there. When the 2 CVs get there. So, like, these are out of rounds, I think. This one has 1. What's going on there? Why can't it shoot? It's kind of weird. Something a bit odd going on there. It says it can see it. It says it can see it both ways, but this is just not shooting. And yeah, Axis has been pushed out, which means Tiberius is going to be able to stop the tick. But that's not the same as winning, because now he needs points on the board, which means he needs to either take this, this, or this. I can't see him taking this. Just something about it. Just something about it. Yeah, but don't be afraid of buying one howitzer, man. I mean, look how useful this has been. I mean, it would be... Well, 155mm are vastly more useful, but once this guy gets to that little forest, he's going to be able to kill all this. So they're unloading there, probably because they saw this, maybe. I don't know. Oh yeah, they will have done, because he's got guys here. And the Paras SES should just be running towards him. They shouldn't be on attack move. They should just be running towards him, because then they can use their satchels, and also these guys could run away. And these are faster. Also, like, this one should be... In fact, yeah, they should both be over here, really. You know, this doesn't matter as much as that. But yeah, you see the power of the Paras Marine. Obviously, they're not invincible. And, yeah, the blue tidal wave has killed him. One thing you can do is you can send this empty one over to drain the Minstrel ahead of your Apache. And, yeah, so he's going to try and smoke his way in again. But I think the moment has passed. This is just going to kill all of that if he's not careful. Looks like it already took a few vehicles out. That's a bit overkill. I mean, obviously you need one in here, and one in here maybe, but the rest can be, I don't know, maybe sent here, I don't know. But obviously he's got a lot of imp, which makes sense. This TOW 2 has rounds, actually. But he doesn't know if there's anybody here. And this guy just doesn't want to shoot that. I don't know. This could be sold, but it ain't easy. So he didn't even move. Maybe this one moved, I don't know. But it kind of just looked like he just sort of decided, oh, okay, I guess I'll do it. It does happen sometimes in this game. Not that regularly, but there you go. So, after a pretty awful start, Axis managed to win there. So, Axis is actually my alt account, I'm the best. And this is Tiberius Rancor, ranked 49th now, but with an 80% ranked win rate. And 1,900 total games, so he's one of the best players. You know, he's one of the best players. Most of his multiplayer games is him playing against Darix, so he practices outside of ranked, basically, against a high-level player, which makes him very good. But yeah, the F-15s killing all the Mirages then opened the way for the helicopters to be used without Mirages slamming into them. And the Pamellas, man, are just not as good as MANPADs because of the bad stealth. And the VLRA-20s are usually really good, but I don't know, microed wrong, I guess. And also, you know, one VLRA-20 loses to 5 helicopters, which is generally how Axis was using them. He was balling them up, and it makes a lot of sense. What he should have done is had a quick fix with them, if he's going to do that. And we did see a quick fix, but it wasn't with the Helo blob, because the quick fix, if you put it at the front, that soaks the shots. And it's got exceptional optics recon, which helps you to see the enemy AA so you can kill it. So certainly he should be having a quick fix with his Apache. Wow, that was a good bombing run. And yeah, GG. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, please like the video. It makes YouTube recommend them to more people. And I'll see you around.